So one of the things, we're in, in Kansas on a beautiful spring day out in the prairie. And one of the things when I'm out in prairie and think about is that these plant communities that we get to work in and work with ranchers on is actually tell a story. And sometimes in my career, I've been able to maybe read that story a little bit better as I learn about plants, about the functions, what drives the system, and I'm able to learn a little bit more with that. Sometimes we're really guilty of skimming a few chapters in a book to try to get to the end, and we can be guilty of that with some of our rangeland and our rangeland management. And one of the things I like to try to do is kind of step back in time a little bit and realize what were those things that wrote the story before now. As this plant community is still here, it's a very resilient community, but what were those drivers or disturbances that really shaped this prairie community today? And so really when that comes to mind, I think of three major things. One is actually that it's the weather or the climate drove this plant community and shaped those plants that are out here. The second thing was actually fire on the landscape. And then the third thing is actually grazing. And so as producers manage this landscape or start trying to read the story this plant community is telling us, is to try to better understand those drivers and maybe how we can either shape or manipulate those. And when I think of that, I think of how might we do that? And what comes to mind is, are there ways that we can actually shape the intensity, the frequency, the timing, even maybe it's the duration of those events, or even from a standpoint of distribution of those events across the landscape. And of course, historically, those happened at great and large scales. A lot of times as we manage this landscape, we're thinking more within a fence line or kind of a smaller land unit.